Obviously, tough loss on Saturday. We're all disappointed. There was a number of opportunities we had to try to win the game throughout the game, and we weren't able to do that. And we won't point any fingers. Every segment we have had an opportunity somewhere along the line to maybe make a difference, but didn't happen. And one thing we won't do is hit the panic button here. We feel we have a pretty good football team, and we just have to go back to work and improve on the areas that we struggled in. And our guys will be ready to do that, and we expect to have a really good practice today and move on to a really good Western Illinois team that's 5-1 and has a big FBS win. And got a lot of respect for Coach Fisher that was at Richmond last year, who's now the head coach. He and I have spoken a couple of times throughout the season, and I think he's done a tremendous job of keeping that culture going. I think Western has tremendous tradition, dating way back when Craddock was there and I was there at one time as well. And there's football is important at Western, and so it'll be a tough challenge for us, and we'll have to get outside this week and practice in the elements and get our guys ready to play. So, take any questions.
Coach, what's the key to bounce back from a loss?
Well, just attack this week and have a great practice today. And, we always talk about, the guys say it and you think it's just coach speak and player speak, but we always talk about going 1-0 for the day and banking those days and giving us an opportunity to go 1-0 for the week. And so that's what we have to do this week. The last thing we can do is let the same team beat you twice by not having a good practice today, tomorrow, whatever, and think, oh, what would have been? It's over with. And our guys know that, and I'm confident in our leadership that we'll have really good practices each day this week.
Do you expect to be without Bruce for a while?
I'll know more, but he's highly doubtful for this week. But that's always tough on an ankle. Is it going to be 2 weeks like it was with Iowa, or is it going to be a week, or is it going to be an extended period? We'll know more in the coming days, or even maybe in the coming week.
Was it a sprain, and was it the same ankle?
It was a sprain. It was the same ankle.
Coach, how similar does Western look to Richmond from last year?
Very similar. You can tell just watching our game last year that some of the formations and some of the play calls and just how their alignments and stuff offensively mimic a lot of the things that they did last year. And obviously it's a really good offense. They're putting up a bunch of points, just as Coach Fisher did last year with Richmond. So we'll have our hands full.
Coach, what's impressed you about Ty Brooks? See him listed now in the top of the depth chart for kick returner?
Well, he's continuing to improve and continuing to get better, and that's the thing I really appreciate about Ty is he knows he hasn't arrived yet. He's always working to improve himself. He comes down on scout team for a good part of the practice. Then Coach P takes him for a little bit with the older guys and works some play. He's always trying to improve. He's a great practice player. I hope a lot of our younger guys can see him and see how you're supposed to practice and give a great look. And I think that's rubbed off on a lot of our younger guys. But he's an explosive athlete that just needs to continue to get reps.
As far as the quarterback run, was that something that you guys maybe weren't as prepared for? Was it a technique issue, something you can improve on going forward?
Probably a little bit of both. One, they hadn't shown it as much, and so maybe there wasn't as a conscious of an effort. But let's call it what it is, in the fact of they have two of the elite players in all of FCS football that you're either going to say you can't play with 12 or 13, so you're either going to take one or both of those guys away, which even though those guys had good games, they didn't have the huge plays, or you're going to stack up and try to stop Christian and then play one-on-one coverage. And through the games that we had seen before, we thought we were going to try to take away the tight end and the receiver.
One of Easton's strengths is obviously his mobility, but are you concerned with the number of hits that he takes on a weekly basis?
Absolutely, but that's the offense we're going to run, and he's a playmaker for us, and I'm not going to calm Easton down. For us to be successful, Easton has to play at a high level, and I love the nature and competitive spirit of that guy, and he's going to continue to battle. We didn't want Carson to do some of the things he did, and he did the same thing running the football, and that's a part of our offense, and it's going to continue to be a part of our offense. Do we want him to get out of bounds if he could? You bet, but I also know what kind of kid he is, and if he sees a defensive back, he's going to try to run over him.
Chris, any comment on the tackle on Bruce? Look questionable whether he's twisted it or not.
You can make your own determination. I'll keep it to myself.
The challenges of playing A in Macomb and B a night game. What is it twofold, and describe that?
It's really difficult because we're going to stay in the Quad Cities. So you have an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes to get to the stadium, and then all the dynamics of a pretty good walk to the stadium and those other things. But it's supposed to be a nice day, so our guys will be able to get outside a little bit and playing at night. It has its challenges. We've played at night before, but when you're sitting around at a hotel, sometimes that's difficult, and we've got to do it for the next 2 weeks. So whatever our plan is, we need to keep it rolling, and we won't change our week as far as what we're going to do leading up to Friday. We'll still do all of our work here on Friday, flying out Friday afternoon, have our meetings Friday night. We'll just probably have to leave a little earlier to get down to the stadium.
What is it about Sean McGuire that he's taken over as their QB? Norvell obviously was their QB last year. What have you seen that he's really taken the?
Well, it's a new staff, so I think they just had an open competition, and McGuire obviously won the competition, and he's doing a really nice job. He had the one game where he didn't. Made the mistakes and had the turnovers against SDSU, but the other games, he's done a nice job throwing it. He's a dual threat guy that they've run some design quarterback run with him. They did a decent amount against Missouri State. He's got a big, strong arm. I really like their weapons outside. Both wide receivers. I know Lenore gets all the credit, but the other receiver is a dynamite receiver that's been playing a long time. So it really kind of. Gives him some weapons to go to, as well as the running backs playing at a high level.
You have a staff that's been together 3 straight years. How rare is that for FCS?
For us, it's unbelievably rare. We're so fortunate that all the guys have been able to stay around here. Matt Larson and administration have done a phenomenal job of keeping the guys around, and I think that goes back to the community. It goes back to all of our wives. They love it here in Fargo. The wives have good jobs. The kids love the school system, and it's just a great place to raise a family.
Does that make a difference? Say in times like this, after a loss, is it the question is, does it help after a loss?
I don't know if it matters, other than I don't like being around Polasek right now. It's just no fun. And I sat with the offense for a few hours, and he's ornery. But at least I know what I'm getting out of Tim, and he's such a competitive guy. It's like when I beat him in golf, he's not happy for the next 3 days. But it's nice to have guys that, we're arguing amongst ourselves up there what we could have done better. Not amongst the offense versus the defense. That's the great thing. It's, offense versus offense, defense versus defense, where we could have done some things better. And we have tremendous competitors up there. And that I think it bodes well that we've been in this situation before, the last 2 years. And, Easton said it. It's not any fun losing around here. And so that's a good thing, that guys feel like this after a loss. And so we have to rebound, and this is a new group, and how we'll rebound this week, we'll leave it up to our captains and older guys to see how we do.
Your assistants had other opportunities.
You bet. I don't want to say any specific schools, but you bet they've had opportunities.
Every year.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Last year, after the South Dakota loss, you guys went on the road and found some success. What is it about going on the road, especially after a loss, that kind of helps you guys reset?
Our routine, I think, is pretty good on the road. That's the first thing I'd say is there's nothing that we're doing that guys are saying, boy, this is out of the ordinary. We have a good routine on the road. We have guys that get along really well. I think we bond really well together. They know all of them have been in most of the stadiums now, most of the environments in the Missouri Valley. And so I think there's a comfort level with those guys, knowing what they're getting into, going to Western Illinois, knowing some of the challenges, whether or not it's the long walk to the stadium, to the long drive, all those other things. Our guys just kind of put that out of their mind and say, hey, we have to focus on what we need to focus on.
People sometimes seem to forget you guys have lost a football game before. You have recovered. How much of that recovery comes from the leadership on this football team and the young men in that locker room And what have you seen from them already, giving you confidence moving into this?
Well, we'll find out today because it's the first time we see him. But it all comes from the guys in the room. You know, we can put them into positions, we can give them game plans and all that other stuff, but it's how those guys respond on a daily basis to attacking the practice and attacking the process of the practice and attacking each week. And as much as guys want to say, I wish we could play tomorrow, there's a lot of preparation that has to go in so that we're ready to play. And I think that's the thing that I like about this group is they won't forget about what it takes to get to Saturday and the process it takes to understand what a game plan is and understand your opponent. That the older guys will make sure the younger guys say, hey, I know we want to play, but let's make sure we dot all our I's, cross all our T's, and get ourselves ready to play this weekend with great days ahead of us in practice.
How did you feel about the play of Quentin McCoy on Saturday?
He did a nice job. I was really happy with Q. You know, had one error on a quarterback run. He came inside. He should have stayed outside. But he made plays. He felt confident out there. And, you know, I don't know what Jalen, we won't know Jalen's status probably till middle of the week. And so early in the week, Q will take all those snaps. But, you know, he's a guy that continues to improve. And he's a junior college transfer. And I don't care if it's Chad Wilson or John Pike. It's that second year when it finally kind of triggers to him after being in our system for a little bit.
When was the only other injury you had?
That's the only one I think that Bobby told me about was Bruce and Jalen. And Jalen's was obviously a concussion, and so he's in the protocol right now.
I think your D-line played. There wasn't many in the line of tackles as far as stats.
No, we need to play better, but I don't want to single out the defensive line. Every position needs to play a little bit better, and they had us a little bit off balance. Do you run with quarterback run? How much do you rush and stuff? So it was a total team loss and not just on one position.
You've talked extensively about how good the Valley is as a conference. You've played 3 games, but it seems like everybody who wasn't as strong the last couple of years is. Is it getting tougher, and why?
Well, because there's great parity. There's great coaching in this league. You know, every week, anybody can win. It doesn't matter home or away, doesn't matter what you did the week before. It's all about matchups. It's all about your focus. It's all about, do you make plays? And that's the one thing that we'll stress and talk to our players about even today is, guys, we didn't make enough plays to warrant winning. We had some really good things out there, offensively and defensively and special teams. I thought Jackson punted the ball exceptionally well. We had some really good things, but we didn't make enough plays to really deserve that victory, and I thought SDSU did, and that's every week. If we don't make enough plays against Western Illinois, we're going to have another loss. If we make enough plays, we have an opportunity to win, but that's going to be the next, what do we have, five games? It's going to be the next 5 weeks.
What do you anticipate for an environment on Saturday night there?
You know, I would assume it'd be pretty good because it's an evening game. I don't know where they're at in Illinois playoffs, you know, if that started or not. You could see at Indiana State, it looked like they had a pretty decent crowd. I don't know if the Illini are home or how, you know, I'm kind of removed from the environment there. I don't know what their crowds have been like so far this year, but they're 5-1. Coach Fisher's done a great job. I know he's brought a lot of alums back, and I'm assuming that we're going to have a really good crowd, and we're hoping that's a really good crowd. It's a lot more fun to play. I mean, even Missouri State, they had 10, 11,000 or so, and that was a really good crowd. It was fun atmosphere for our guys to play in.
Do you think they're more close to what you saw against South Dakota State or how they played against Northern Illinois? Is it somewhere in the middle there?
Well, who knows? You know, who knows? You know, that's whether it's South Dakota State, where, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, turnovers will hurt you in any time you play. Indiana State, they played well. Indiana State's a good football team. We know how much improved Missouri State is. It was on the road at Missouri State. They're up 31-14 or 31-10 or something in the fourth quarter, and I know had some bad things happen, but they had control of the game. So they're a good football team, continuing to get better because they're only in game 6 of Coach Fisher and his new staff's regime and style of play. So I know they're improving, and hey, they have everything in front of them. They're 5-1. They have a road win. They have us at home. Everything's in front of it for them too. So we're going to be in a tough environment.
Is Purefoy close to being ready to play, and are you considering another back if both he and Bruce are out for a while?
Well, it'd be Ty right now, just because Damaris is a little banged up right now. We don't know when we'll have Damaris full speed. He's kind of practicing in and out, but it would be Ty. He'd be the next guy in.
How much of an emphasis are you placing on the run game in the offensive line this week, given that you guys kind of struggled running the ball from the running back position last?
Well, we always need to run the football, no matter what. I don't care who we're playing. That's more about us and being able to control the line of scrimmage, to be able to control time of possession, and that goes to the whole football team. You have to get off the field on third down on defense to give your offense the ball back. You have to be able to convert on third down offense to keep some of those drives alive. And but we need to make a big emphasis to run the football in order for us to be successful throughout the year.
Thanks.